As my opponent just stated, he said that euthanasia could be helped to use overcrowded hospitals, and he said it's a sad way to go about settling the problem, but why go through that? It's a sad way. Try to find a different way. There's always another way to a solution, or another solution for a problem. To go about euthanasia, there are actually 3 states that allow euthanasia right now: Oregon, Montana, and Virginia. I'm just going to go by, I guess, 3 or 4 ways that they allow you to go through euthanasia. You have to have the requirements of 2 oral or 1 written request for euthanasia. There must be at least 15 days between the first and last request. The patient must be terminally ill with a life expectancy of less than 6 months. Both doctors must confirm that the patient is capable of making this decision. So I'm just going to go by 2 of those. The one that says 6 months expectancy to live, and the patient must be able to make a decision for himself. I'm going to basically say that my main claim is that euthanasia, the policies that are set up right now, actually have many loopholes in this situation that they have. So I'm going to go with one example was you have to be able to make the decision for yourself. There was a man named Michael Freeland requested and received a lethal prescription from Dr. Peter Regan, a suicide advocate. A few months after being diagnosed with lung cancer, Dr. Regan offered to refill it when he outlived his 6-month limit. Over a year after receiving the first prescription, Freeland was admitted to a psychiatric treatment facility with depression and suicidal intent. He was treated and improved. His professional caregivers ensured that his 32 guns and all of his ammunition were removed from his home before he was allowed to return, but they knowingly allowed him to keep his lethal prescription. His treating psychiatrist wrote a letter to the court the day after his discharge saying he was not competent and needed a guardian. This just goes by another example of my main claim that it has loopholes going off of what the requirements are. The patient must be able to make the decision for himself, but if you're suffering from depression or you are a suicidal victim, you probably don't have the right mental capacity to make the decision for yourself, and that's why the doctor said that he needed to have psychiatric help. Another example would be this lady whose name was Kate Chaney. She was 85, had terminal cancer, and told her doctor she wanted assisted suicide. However, he was concerned that she didn't meet the required criteria for mental competence because of the dementia, so he declined to write her the requested prescription and instead referred her to a psychiatrist as required by law. She was accompanied to the psychiatrist by her daughter. The psychiatrist found that Kate had a loss of short-term memory. But it goes on to say that basically that the doctor felt like Kate did not want to actually go through it as they kept going through more sessions, but the daughter kept encouraging her mother to go through with it for her own unknown reasons. This goes out to the other requirement that said that you have to be able to make a decision for yourself, but the loophole within the requirements of euthanasia shows that someone can actually influence you to go through it yourself, which did end up happening. 3 months later, Kate did go through the euthanasia and prescription and killed herself. And another example was the 6 months. You have to have at least a life expectancy of 6 months. But there was a woman by the name of Susan. She actually had breast cancer, and she was actually still doing aerobic exercises, working out and whatnot, but she had somewhat pain, and I guess not enough pain to keep her from working out, however. But she did ask and request for euthanasia, and she kept asking around. Her doctor told her no, but she kept asking around for other doctors, and eventually she kept knocking on more doors. The doctor did tell her yes to her request for euthanasia, which goes to show the other loophole within the requirements. If you keep asking around, because it says you have to have at least 2 doctors to tell you yes. If you keep asking around, you will eventually find somebody who will agree to your terms, even though the doctor who she did ask said he was kind of concerned by her wanting to die. But once again, that goes to my main claim that this euthanasia actually has many loopholes within the systems that already exist in the 3 states that I mentioned earlier, and that is going to be that right now.